I cannot believe that these motorcycle riders on YouTube and TikTok keep getting arrested, man. Oh my goodness. It's like every other day, some 22-year-old squid with an S1000RR gets arrested. Oh my God, guys. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what's happening, there's been several higher profile motorcycle content creators who have gotten arrested because they post literally their crimes on the internet. So I believe it's a user by the name of S1K Rafa or S1K Rocket. I don't know, there's like so many S1K guys on Instagram and YouTube. But one of these guys went and got himself arrested, posting several videos of him going like a buck 80, 180 miles an hour, close to 300 kph for my international audience, on a local highway in broad daylight, man. In broad daylight. And then they post it online. And then the crazy part is, you see a lot of what I have to assume are like younger guys and high school kids posting in the comments basically saying, well, there's no face, there's no case, bro. You can't possibly prove that it's him without a reasonable doubt. But boys, that's what compiling evidence in court is for, right? It's not just because you don't have a face, there's no case. It's the fact that you can prove without much reasonable doubt that this is the person in the video, right? So you have the accounts linked to one person. They can trace your IP address based on those accounts. You then see that the motorcycle rider in the video is wearing the same gloves as the photos he took on Instagram. You then can cross, check footage from the gas station where he was there at that time. You check the, records from Google, because like literally law enforcement can just ask YouTube or Google or whoever for records based on who owns the account, and they comply with it. If they want to get you, they're gonna get you. And there's no reason to post videos of yourself doing 180 miles an hour on the highway consistently. They're gonna find you. I'm laughing because it's so insane. I grew up in a time where you were anonymous on the internet. You did not want people to know who you were. You did not want people to have your real name. You did not want people to know about your dastardly deeds, right? I would certainly not go in broad daylight at 180 miles an hour and then post about it online. There are better ways to get internet clout. You don't have to do this. It's so crazy to me that this keeps happening. The most famous example of this was, of course, Gixxer Brah's Colorado run, right? And a lot of people got up in arms about that because they're like, how could they prove it was him? How could they prove it was him? Guys, they literally built that case because they wanted to get him. He got enough media attention on the local news and everything else, and everyone is like, man, this is just like really endangering public safety. And so the law enforcement there wanted to make an example of him, right? And so they literally extradited him from Texas. They built the case, they did the whole thing, and they got him. So that's what I'm saying, like, don't post videos of yourself online doing crimes. I know that sounds like incredibly like simple advice, and it's so simple to follow, and it's hard to believe that I even have to say this, but don't post these egregious crimes. It's like you can't do it in this insanely egregious way, and you can't make your whole channel about that because you make yourself a target, If you are all about just speeding incredibly fast on the road, and that's all you post about online, you're just making yourself a target. However, if you were to make a bike review, something positive, something informative, and in the video perhaps you just maybe hit 80 or 90 miles an hour like for 2 seconds on a random road, nobody's ever, you'd have to really be an asshole, but nobody is ever really going to get you for that because they have more important things to do with their time. But again, if you're the type of guy that you're out there speeding a bunch all the time and like literally causing a name for yourself in your local community with how much of a nuisance you are, which is what I believe this S1000RR rider did, you're gonna get very, very in trouble. And the other thing about it too is, there's really no benefit to this, right? Like, if you're trying to build a name for yourself, be a content creator, build a little small business for yourself on the internet, making motorcycle videos, number one, that's a really hard game. How do I know? I do it, I live it. That's really tough to do. Number two, you know, there's better ways to approach it than to speed and do crazy stuff. You could have a fun new twist on challenges with your motorcycle. You could be entertaining. You could do all these different things that don't cause these kind of issues, because it goes beyond just like, okay, this guy got arrested and like, yeah, he probably has some legal troubles and maybe got his bike impounded. That's all, you know, not great. The ones that scare me the most are the ones that are advocating that you run from the police, or that you, you know, engage in these like kind of like way higher level crimes. I don't know about the state that you live in, but in Texas, evading police is a felony, and you really don't want to do that. You really don't want to run from the cops. And if you're not speeding super egregiously, you're typically not going to put yourself in a position where you need to run from the cops, and it's almost always better to not run, unless you already have a bunch of other charges. Like, you know, if you're the type of dude that you know, have made a lot of poor decisions in your life, and you're like, hey, if I get pulled over by the police, I'm going to get put away for a long time, then maybe you have to run. I don't know your life. I don't know your situation. But, you know, these kind of decisions, they compound on each other, right? And they lead to really bad outcomes. And I'm not sitting here saying that as some like scolding, gatekeeping kind of older content creator on YouTube, but we gotta do better, guys. Like, goddamn, like, I don't want to see people getting arrested on their motorcycles, causing a bad name for the community. It's just a bummer when I hear about this. It is kind of a fun bit of drama, and it is interesting, but, you know, I'm seeing guys, like, trying to do wheelies on these big group rides, crashing out. I'm seeing people getting arrested. I'm seeing people dying on these group rides. We can do better, guys. We can absolutely do better than this, and there's no reason for that to be happening. And I'm really happy to see that it seems like things are changing in the community a little bit. Maybe it's just until the next generation of 22-year-old squids kind of enter the fold, because Lord have mercy, God protect all of us when Gen Alpha becomes old enough to buy S1000 RRs. We're truly cooked at that point. Nothing will be able to save us from that impending doom. Their combination of brain rot and nihilism and leader bikes will cause really, really bad situations. Really, really bad. But yeah, the new crop of guys, I'm really happy to see them all, you know, trying to go to more track days, learning more about how to ride correctly and in the best way. You know, even some of them sizing down from their super fast motorcycles as well. Like, these are all good steps. These are all good things in our community. And yeah, again, like, I think that if you go out there and you post videos of yourself riding super fast, there's just a very low probability that you're going to be able to do that for a long period of time and not have something happen to you. And just ask yourself, like, what's the risk reward, man? Like, the risk is that you get put in jail and you get your bike impounded and you have tons of legal fees and problems and you have this black mark on your record, right? The reward is you get like some Instagram likes and you get some views on YouTube, and like maybe if your account is monetizable, you'll make like, you know, a couple grand or whatever. Man, that's not worth it. That's like totally not worth it. Yeah, it'd be really cool if people stopped getting arrested on their motorcycles. And it also would be cool if, you know, maybe if you have a leader bike, you don't ride it like a moron. And I also think that that's the case for not buying a leader bike, because you can't make as dumb decisions with a smaller, less capable motorcycle, you know? Your 600 can't even do 186 miles an hour, which I said that right as my range says 186. Look at that, the power of manifestation, everything coming together, so beautiful, so nice. One last point on this topic that I wanted to make is the amount of content that comes out where people are like, you know, speeding really aggressively, driving really crazy. Number one, it really isn't very cool for like public safety. I know that people think that it's like, oh, if you're on a motorcycle, you're just gonna kill yourself. That's really not true. If you collide in the back of a vehicle going 180 miles an hour, you have so much force and mass. Imagine if someone's kid is in the back seat of that car, man. Like, you're really endangering people doing that. So it's really not a cool thing to do, first of all. That's why it's like, dude, go to a highway at like 2 a.m., you know? If you're 22 with a leader bike, I know you don't have shit going on. You can go to a highway at 2 a.m. you don't have responsibilities, you don't have things to take care of. Like, you could absolutely go to a highway at 2 a.m. And the second thing is, you know, the more people that make this type of content, the more that people want to do like copycat versions of it. For a while there on YouTube, I was getting fed these smaller creators that were basically just like doing a copycat version of what Gixxer Brah does, or what this S1000RR rider did, just like these ultra fast top speed runs between cars and stuff like that. You don't want to be doing that, you know. It's just not the wisest move. And I'm really happy to see that hopefully, as we keep pushing this on the community to like, hey, take it easy on the street, go to the track, let's ride in a safe way, let's have fun with our bikes, but let's not get crazy. Hopefully that tamps it down. But it is a bummer because I just see so many comments like egging people on and saying that it's like the coolest thing ever, and it's kind of not really. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave me a comment down below. Who's the next creator that might get got by the police? If you say Yami Noob, I'm gonna be upset. I ride like a normal degenerate nowadays, not a truly degenerate, you know. I ride in a pretty normal way nowadays, so hopefully you guys don't say me. Alright boys, thanks so much for checking out today's quick upload. I hope you appreciated it. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later.
Keep watching Yami Noob.